Good morning, traders. Still holding AMTX. It did get all the way up to 20 yesterday, but it's been on this nice, strong trend line. Actually, right now, maybe a possible little U-shaped play on it, as it's coming back up to 17 right now. Possibly. Or actually, that's more of a red to green move, I think. But if you look at the 5-day, 5-minute, you can see it's been on this trend line, testing the trend line right now. If this trend line holds up, I'm going to continue to hold it. If the trend line cracks, I'm going to sell it. But we'll see what happens with it today. Very nice. If it breaks 17, I'd say it'll start moving. So let's pop over, look at the SPY. What's the SPY doing? SPY still in this downtrend. Sit on the daily there, so it's looking a little rough. Definitely looking a little rough. SLGG get a nice rip today. It's one of those stocks from yesterday we was looking at. AMTX is over 17 now. AESY. If that could break 3, that could start moving. HUSN, very interesting looking chart here. Possible U-shape up to 5. I may actually go on this. There's no PR or anything. Let's see. Yeah, this is low float as hell. It's barely had any. It's had just a little bit of volume. But it's not going to take much for this to move. So there's the resistance at $5. Currently in this downtrend. Interesting. Yeah, I'm going on this. This is so low float, and it's getting just a little bit of buying. And if any big buying at all starts to come in, look at that spread, then this thing could rip. Now, it may not do anything. Like I said, it doesn't have much volume yet. But I just like the way it's looking right now. So I'm going to take a shot on it. And it is above all indicators as well. Good morning, One Life. But this is a risky play. This is not a play I would recommend for a new trader, because this could easily sell off really fast, or it could do nothing because there's not a ton of volume on it yet. You see it's starting to push down a little bit there. So I'm selling at 450. Good morning, Michelle. Morning, Orlando. So yeah, this is definitely a high risk, high reward type of play. I'm just looking at it to see if it's going to get pumped, because we have been in a little bit of a pump and dump market, and this is a perfect pump target. But it is looking a little bit rough right at the moment. Actually, on the daily chart, you actually do have a big wedge there, a big triangle. So if it can break over 5 today, this thing probably will go crazy. But like I said, this is high risk, high reward. This is something I probably wouldn't trade if you're a new trader, just to be honest with you. Because there's no PR, it barely has volume right now, and any little volume it's getting, it's moving one way or the other. So we'll see. Then I did get in kind of early. Let's see what else is going on. So what was that, HUSN? Yeah, okay, so put that on the watch list so I can keep an eye on that. Let's see, AMTX. Yeah, so AMTX back above the trend line. I'll let that do its thing there. AESY still going straight up. Looks like it may start to curl. That could be a possible play. OVID is selling off. That's selling off. See, OGN got some PR, it looks like. Yeah, this ripped pretty hard. This could be a possible play. It's made a big triangle from pre-market to now. So if it breaks over 13, that could get going. See a lot of these mid caps, that's selling off at the moment. COHN. This is a higher price stock, but looks like it's about to, it just broke pre-market high off of this U shape. Looks like that's about to start running if you like a little bit higher price stock. It is already up 194% though. CAN could be another possible play, another possible mid cap that can run. So a lot of possible plays, especially in the mid cap world. Check on HUSN real quick. So it started to pop up to 470. It needs to get over 470 soon if it's going to have this breakout. As you can see, 470, it's held up there, pretty much there. Like I said, this could do nothing. This could do absolutely nothing. We don't know yet. I just went on this off of the curl that is starting and the fact that it is above all indicators, so it is bullish, and we've kind of been in a pumpy dumpy market, and this stock I could see getting pumped. Oh, and we're starting to get a little bit more buying. See, just any little amount of volume moves this stock. And that's why I think it's a perfect pump and dump candidate. I mean, you just saw that in half a second. It shot all the way up to 480 and then back down to 462. So that's why I say it's a high risk, high reward type of play. Good morning, Brian. But I'm basically betting on some chat room is going to pump this soon. Because it's a prime pump candidate. I absolutely could be wrong. Like I said, this could do nothing. This could sell off. This is high risk, high reward. Not the normal trade to make. There is a lot of potential for this because if it breaks 5, it has room at least up to 578. And see, it's starting to come back down again. See, that's the thing. It's not even had 500,000 in volume yet, but it's making 30 to 40 cent moves in 1 2-minute candle. So if 1 million in buying volume was to come in, like I said, if one chat room comes in and pumps this thing could go crazy. But it also could just sell off and do nothing. So high risk, high reward. So OCGN, there you go. OCGN just breaking that wedge like I said earlier. A little triangle there. Still getting hung up at 13, but if it breaks 13, that could get moving. See, AMTX, AMTX back below the trend line. Have to keep an eye on AMTX. Coming back up again, though. Okay. Alright, Thinkorswim, just take my stuff off so I can't see it. What was the other play I had up here? Oh, it was OGC, I think. Was it OGC? OCGN, that's what it is. There we go. I've got coin up here because this is supposedly the ticker symbol that Coinbase is going to IPO under, and that's going to be happening soon. So I'm just keeping it on my watch list for if it does IPO under that ticker symbol. Be ready to go. See, the SPY is still dropping. Yeah, SPY looking like a little dump ski today. Yeah, you can see HUSN just still kind of in this area. Sell off on SLGG, but SLGG being kind of a hot stock right now. If that can come around and make a U shape later or some type of pattern, that still could be a play. Because it does have, yeah, let's see, it's had 20 million in volume already, so. Let's see, YGMZ with a cooperation agreement. Agreements are usually good. 50 days at 11.25. But you can see this thing can rip too. There's a lot of possible big rippers, but we are in a bit of an ugly market, so I don't know. I don't know how big the rips are actually going to be because the SPY is still downtrending. But YGMZ is very low float. And you see in a week span there, it went from 12 to 58. Gotta wait for a pattern. kind of where we're. That's kind of what I'm seeing on everything. Is there's not really any patterns forming yet, other than the triangle break of OCGN. So there, it looks like, let's see, what did they get FDA approval? Yeah, so this company has FDA approval. This is definitely one you're going to want to keep on watch. FDA approval of a drug is always a good thing. You see it gapped up. Right now it is currently in this downtrend. But break of $18. And actually, a buy off of this $15 support would have probably been a decent, well, it absolutely would have been a decent buy because it's already ran $1.50 since that it hit that bottom there. But this is a definite possible play. I said FDA approval. I get phase 1, positive phase 1 is kind of like, man. Positive phase 2 is like, alright. Positive phase 3 is like, okay, we're listening. And then FDA approval, and markets usually like, hey, they're selling a drug. Drug dealers make lots of money. Let's buy that. So I could easily see this getting back up to $21 in that pre-market high. Let's see, AMTX back up on the trend line again. It's trying to hold this trend line. As long as it holds, I'm gonna keep holding, like I said. HUSN, see, last two candles, no buying or selling really. There's just little white checks. And little white checks mean the buying and the selling were just dead even. Especially on that one. That one there was a little selling, but it ended up the buying just evened out with the selling. So, like I said, this may do nothing. SLGG still selling off. Now, if this support line right here is pretty good support, so if it comes down the support line, that could be possible entry. And $5 as well. It may not even come all the way down to this 487 area. It may just come down to 5. It already looks like the selling slowing down on this. And you can see KMPH starting to come up a little bit. Coming up and testing that 17 area. Oh, look at that. OCGN. What'd I say? If it broke over that triangle, broke over 13, it's going to get moving. Anybody catch that on OCGN? Yeah, the SPY is trying to rebound, but here's the thing though. Overall, on the daily chart right now, it's in this downtrend. So it may try to rebound a little bit, but and even right now, the downtrend is like this on the intraday chart. So it may pop up to 386, but more than likely it's going to keep slowly selling off. Good morning, Jamie. Yeah, so they've got a efficient vaccine, it looks like, for COVID. And if it breaks 14, I could get going as well. YGMZ. Uh, yeah, that is a little. No, no, not a triangle anymore. I mean, maybe a downward pointing triangle, which is not really what you want, but more than likely you're going to want to see this kind of curl over and make a U shape possibly. No, it's kind of, there's not really a pattern there yet. And that's going to run into 1142 also. KMPH is where I'd be looking at right now if I had any funds left. YGMZ is a possible play. No CGN's already broke out, so. But we're starting to get a little curl there. It's having a problem breaking 17, so it's going to need to break 17. I got a little bit of cash left. We might sneak in another play somewhere. Yeah, you can see YGMZ still cracking down. So OCGN coming back down as well. And what do we got? Why is that happening, I wonder? Look at there. SPY getting rejected at 386 area. Alright, so now we're just going sideways on this play. So that's it's getting a little buying, then no buying. We do have this downtrend. We're actually making somewhat of a triangle on this risky play, but like I said, this could do nothing. Very possibly could do nothing. You could play the trend line on YGMZ. It may come back down to the trend line possibly. Right now it looks like $10 just trying to hold up as some support, which it might. There's a little bit of support right there. So you could possibly see that hold up $10 and then start to curl back around. Okay, and PH still going to be a little, probably like 15-20 more minutes and this could possibly break out. Oh, HUSN having a little sell-off back down on the bottom of this triangle, which when I say little, I mean absolutely little. It only took 11,000 shares for that move. So it may not get pumped. It may not get pumped. It may just do what it's doing. See, AMTX is struggling to hold this trend line. I'm gonna put a stop loss below this pre-market low there. Put like 1574. Or whatever, that's fine. If AMTX drops below that pre-market low, then it's gonna be done. So YGMZ did hold up at $10 support, so now there's a possible play there. I'm gonna go a couple of shares. Okay, maybe not that many. I'm gonna go a couple of shares on KMPH. Yeah, I got 2 shares of it. That's all I could afford. But it's still getting rejected in the 17 area. I'm gonna give it a shot. Because this is the best PR I think I've seen so far today. FDA approval. Still struggling with 17 though. It needs to break and hold over 17 here soon. Yeah, SPY dumping some. Yeah, SPY just hit new lows, dumping. Dumping. So that may cause some issues in the market. So it's about to break over 17 here. Yeah. Tested, but there's a lot of selling at 17 on this. Kind of surprised there's that much selling there, but little pullback there. You can see it's starting to curl over, but there is some support in the 1650 area. There it goes. There it goes. Now it's starting to push over 17. So let's see, the top of the downtrend's at 1780, and then 18 is going to be resistance. But if it can break through 18, be good to go. Pull back below 17 again. That's alright at this point. 17 should start to hold up. Yeah, bid's starting to stack at 17. OCGN about to break 14. Little U shape there. That pre-market high is at 1406. So it's trying. Oh, AMTX. AMTX close to cracking. KMPH back below 17, but you see some buyers coming in and trying to hold it, push it back above 17. Yeah, there it goes, right back above 17. If that keeps getting hung up at 17, it could come back down. Yeah, 17. 17 is still holding as a little bit of resistance. Okay, well there it goes. It's getting slowly caught at 17, but it's still slowly climbing up. Yeah, this guy's doing nothing. No volume on this whatsoever at the moment. So that's what I was saying. This could easily do nothing. Boy, it's kind of choppy. OCGN getting rejected at 14. And KMPH still getting rejected at 17. See, let's read some headlines here. Make sure nothing crazy has happened. See, non-manufacturing PMI is lower. That's not good. I don't care about Dave Portnoy. Okay, market composite PMI is a little bit up. Service PMI is a little bit up. They revised the 80 employment change, so it's actually higher, so that's somewhat good news. I don't know. I think the market's just due. I think it's due for another big pullback. Yeah, it's a choppy day. Definitely a choppy day. There are some possible other plays though that I'm not looking at. Why? I'm trying to figure out what's going on there. Why is TRXC getting this Asensus PR? Oh, it is TRXC. Alright, so there's FDA approval there as well. We got two different FDA approval plays. That one's FDA clearance, which is still good, but KMPH is FDA approved. FDA approval. A lot of PR. But you can see this is currently in that downtrend. Got to break that downtrend there at 525 for that to get going. But that could. KMPH on 1,000 ticks. I don't use ticks on my charts, but if you like to use them. I think that's a pretty small. Yeah, that's a very small, very small time frame. But the overall picture is the big wedge. So if you like using that type of time frame, go for it. But me personally, I don't. I'm not a big fan of looking at stocks that close because the movements are so quick and little in that space. Unless you're trying to scalp, uh, unless you're trying to scalp, it's kind of pointless in my opinion to use that low of a time frame. Oh, HUSN actually cracked that triangle. Hasn't quite hit my stop loss yet. So this may not do, like I said, this may not do anything. It may just die off at this point. Good morning, Greg. SPY keeps dropping right now. It's gonna be hard to get any breakouts. You know, we've seen this the last couple of days. Every time the SPY starts dumping like this, the breakouts start getting sketchier. You see the market. The market is mixed, but it's pretty red. All the big companies are red. AMTX close to cracking here. So I may get stopped out for a small profit on this bag hold. Unless it can hold up, but I don't know if that's going to hold up or not. NorCal, I do not know about Halestar Metals, but I'm interested in that name. Oh, and while we're sitting here waiting, I actually want to talk about that, about gold and cryptos and stuff. Mark Cuban, I don't know if you guys saw this, but he got in a little Twitter spat with Peter Schiff, which, oh, okay, so I'm out of AMTX, that cracked, but that's a showing a loss, but that can't be right because I was in at $15. But now that I'm out of that, I do have some more funds available. Possibly make a trade. Yeah, so I made $3 on AMTX. I was gonna say I bought in at 15, so what's the ticker symbol for Heliostar NorCal? Oh, but anyway, back to what I was saying. While you get that ticker symbol, Mark Cuban was giving Peter Schiff the business about gold. If you don't know who Peter Schiff is, he's a big proponent of gold, and he's the guy who called the 2008 housing market crash, and he's been calling Bitcoin a bubble and saying Bitcoin's value is zero. And Mark Cuban got into it with him and told him that gold is simply used for an earring, where cryptos, blockchain technology is a whole new technology that can basically change the world, and that's where the value is at. And I agree with Mark Cuban on that point, but he said gold is going to die as a store of value, and that I disagree with. I can't see gold dying as a store of value. Now, could it drop and go down? Of course it could, but nobody invested in gold anymore because of cryptos. That's a pretty bold statement. And I also saw this morning in the headlines that a squid passed a kindergarten human test or something like that. And I didn't read in the article because really I don't really care that much, but I just thought it was funny, just the headline. But my first thought was, what did they do? Give that squid a pen and a paper? Like, how did he take the test? How do you test a squid the same way you test a human? KMPH may sell off even with this FDA approval in this market we're in. It is possible that KMPH could sell off. I'm going to keep an eye on it because it is coming back down the bottom of this triangle. But you can see right here the market is. What is? We just had some new PR. Yep. Treasury yields are rebounding, and that affects the stock market. Treasury yields being too high is not a good thing. So we may start to see a dump here. We may start to see a big dump because this is like the third time where the market's tried to rebound in the last week, and the bond yields keep going up. The bond yield interest rates. And the reason that is bad, if you don't understand what I'm talking about, is because the bond interest rates, the treasury interest rates, is the treasuries are what we loan out to other countries to raise money because we have a dumb government that doesn't know how to math good. Well, we've loaned out tons and tons, 30 trillion worth of those treasuries that we can't pay back. And the interest rates rising on those means that we have to pay more interest on that $30 trillion in debt. So, with inflation rising, because if you look at the gas stations, the gas prices have went up. If you've been grocery shopping lately, you know that groceries have been going up, like steaks have went up quite a bit. So the way the government could pay those treasuries back is to use the higher inflation to devalue the dollar. That way, when they pay their treasuries back, they're actually paying less money. That's their way to hoodoo the rest of the world out of the money that they owe them, is by using high inflation and stealing our value from our purchasing power and stealing it from the rest of the world to pay them back cheap dollars. But the problem is, when these bond yields are rising like this and treasury yields are rising like this, that means the interest that they got to pay back is higher. So it's offsetting their value flip trick that they use with inflation. So right now, pretty much, from what I'm seeing, the economy's in a death spiral. And there's no way they could there's no way they can get out of this. Like, I don't see the economy, I don't see it recovering anytime soon because they've spent too much money. Jamie, I actually believe that. I absolutely believe that if anybody is going to go to space and mine for gold, which gold could be very, very prevalent in space because that's where it comes from asteroids and stars exploding and whatever. But it is very possible that Elon Musk could send some spaceships up there to go mining. I would not put it past him at all to do that. And with the autonomous robots and vehicles and stuff that we got, he ain't even got to send people up there. He can send robots up there to mine. We're not that far away from that. And if you look at Elon Musk, when he wants to do something, he does it. That man is a crazy lunatic, and now he has all the money in the world. He's going to Mars. That's like his childhood dream. When I look at Elon Musk, I don't see a big businessman, entrepreneur, or any of that. I see a little kid who is chasing his dream. And that little kid has done everything he can to get that dream, and I don't think he's going to let nothing stop him. So gold could die, but I don't think it's going to die right now. You know, that is a possibility that space exploration and mining could lead to gold and silver becoming way cheaper if the supply gets a lot higher. No, we're probably some few more years away from that. 5-10 years possibly, depending on how fast technology advances. But I do think that is a very strong possibility in the future. And that's solely, like I said, because Elon Musk is a special guy. That guy knows what he's doing. Every time he tweets and messes with the markets, messes with cryptos, he knows what he's doing. It's similar to what Trump was doing as president when he'd tweet and the stock market would rip. Like they know what they're doing. They have the power to manipulate markets. Like just the other day when Elon said, after Elon bought 1.5 billion in Bitcoin for Tesla, and it's like, yay, it's going to the moon. A week later, he's like, Bitcoin's a little too high, and you saw the crypto market have a big drop. Like the crypto market was pretty bullish off of that news that he bought that, and then quick drop. Just because he said that. So you gotta, those guys are. Yeah, this is looking quite ugly today so far because the SPY is continuing to sell off here. But like I said, with Treasury, they can't keep Treasury rates and bond rates. They can't keep them down. They're trying, but it is literally, to put it simply, what they do and what is happening is going against what they do. So they are stuck in pretty much a rock and a hard place, and there's nothing really that they can do. Like I'm hey there, guys. I had a little shake out there on OBS Studio. But yeah, the Federal Reserve and the government, I'll say the Federal Reserve, they're in between the rock and a hard place. The government, they're still trying to spend $2 trillion more and whatever else they can. Just spend all the money that doesn't exist. Yeah, it kind of is a chess game of the elites right now. It's honestly, like, this is gonna sound overly dramatic, but this is really what is going on, and we are in a economic world war because the whole entire globe, because of lockdowns and a pandemic that popped a bubble that was already a big, huge, bad bubble of debt that's been growing for pretty much the last, I don't know, I would say it goes all the way back to the gold standard. When they took the US dollar off the gold standard, I'd say that's when the dollar or when the whole global bubble started. But you see, China came out today, and I think last night too, and they were saying that the U.S. stock market's going to crash. Why? Like, why is China saying that? I mean, they're probably right. Good chances are they're right because that's the same thing I think. But and there's a lot of other economists, and I'm just a guy who likes to trade stocks. But there's a lot of economists as well who think the same thing. One life, one trade. Is that? That's got to be Daniel B. No, I'm not a. I am not a Keynesian economist or whatever. I don't follow. I do not agree with Keynesian economics. It doesn't make any sense. The idea of Keynesian economics that you can spend money to put back into the economy to be able to save it and stuff. I mean, that is a possibility, but if you look at it on a base level, if you take out all the big words and all the science and all that stuff, whatever however they come up with their Keynesian economics, basically what it is the government can invest in money into the economy. Well, stop right at investment. And we all know, because we do this every day, we trade every day, we invest every day, that investments don't always work out. So if you are putting an investment of trillions of dollars or billions of dollars into the economy and that investment doesn't work out, well, guess what? The government really doesn't have a big stop loss that they can put in. So if that fails, then they just added more to the debt. And that's the problem I have with Keynesian economics. Because it's risky. Now, when the investments do work out, yeah, the economy will grow, but you're taking a whole lot of risk. Like I said, the government doesn't have a stop loss. If they had a stop loss, we wouldn't be 30 trillion in debt right now. And pretty much, I doubt anybody can argue that Keynesian economics works, considering the whole globe that has been embracing Keynesian economics the last 20 years or whenever it started. They're all in debt, so it obviously doesn't work that well. So the world should have listened to the Austrian economics. The Austrian economics makes a lot more sense to me. Yeah, exactly. It just does the spending part. If the government could show me that it could do math good, then maybe I would be like okay with Keynesian economics. But the government never does math good, so I have a very hard time believing that they're going to change anything that they're doing because they haven't yet. So. Yeah, I think it's the Austrian economics. Classic. I, D- Daniel B, I know you're trolling me. I know that's you under one life, one trade. You are trolling right now. Is that how low that you've gotten that you gotta troll me with other YouTube names? I swear I think it's Daniel B trolling me. But just in case it's not Daniel B trolling me and some of you don't know what Austrian economics are, it's basically individualism. It's the same thing that I'm always preaching that. And this is the way I like to look at Austrian economics is because it's individualism, every single individual in the world is their own economy. So you have a bank account, you get money that flows into your bank account, and you got money that flows out of your bank account. So you are an economy yourself. You are one individual economy. So the way to have a great economy is to have everybody individually having great economies, and then the overall scope of the economy will be better. But the problem with that is you have to have financially educated people, and our government has made it pretty hard for our schools to teach financial education. So I am fascinated by all economics. I do study it quite a bit. It just helps with trading and investing and everything. Like investing without economics, knowing anything about economics, you can do fine without it, But me personally, I'm just fascinated at the debates and discussion of it because really, I mean, if you think about it and you look at where we're at right now, uh, we're at a place in history where we're going to be going through some major changes here soon. Nah, I wouldn't. I would still say economics can help with trading. I mean, it's not going to directly help with your technical analysis or anything, but if you understand what I just said about the market, about the Federal Reserve having issues keeping or paying off the debts because they're trying to get inflation high, but the treasuries keep rising. I've pretty much almost called every single day what the market was about to do, and we're in this downtrend still. And I'm not even, like I said, I'm just a guy who likes to trade stocks, but because I've been studying this economics so close, I can see what the probable outcome is going to be. So if you can see that before the day even starts or as the day is starting, then you can like 20 minutes into this stream, I was saying there's a good possibility that the breakouts could not work. The breakouts could start failing, and what happened? Breakouts started failing. So yeah, but you're not you can't correlate my trading with knowing economics. My trading is flawed for my discipline. That has nothing to do with my knowledge. So that's not a correlation. That's got to be Daniel B. It's got to be Daniel B. And Austrian economics is different than the actual economy of Austria. Austrian economics was created in Austria. I can't remember what year, but a while ago, like I think in the 60s or 40s, something like that. You can fact check me on that because I don't remember that part. I don't remember dates that well. But it's got to be Daniel B trolling me. I hear the trading is hard. It's got to be Daniel B, man. There's no way it's not Daniel B. Exactly. All the books in the world don't help the discipline and the patterns. If I was a disciplined trader, then my knowledge of economics that I'm constantly growing would help me tremendously. But because I like discipline doesn't matter about any of what I know. Like discipline is a whole separate thing. That's you know, discipline in trading is not just discipline in trading. To be disciplined, you have to be disciplined through your whole life. And that's why it's a struggle to be disciplined. because I'm from the South. I grew up eating biscuits and gravy, and I love really good food, but it's really bad for me. And it's hard for me to break that and not eat biscuits and gravy every morning. No, I'm just kidding. I don't eat biscuits and gravy every morning, but if I could, I would. And that right there, because I know that, that's why I know I lack discipline. And there's other areas in my life as well that I'm working on. I'm working on that discipline, but it transcends beyond that. You can say that, yes, discipline is solved. No, actually, I'm going to disagree with you because you can have a plan, and if you don't stick to the plan, then it doesn't matter about your plan. So you still have to have discipline. Having a plan is not going to solve your discipline problems. Like that's the same thing as saying you have all the knowledge. If you got a plan, that's great. I mean, every day in the market, I have a plan and I come in ready to trade with my plan, and then you'll see me just throw the plan out the window, and that's lack of discipline. So you have to have discipline to carry out the plan. You can't solve discipline by having a trading plan. You have to be disciplined to have the trading plan. And like I said, it transcends outside the stock market. Discipline is in your whole life. You have to be disciplined. You have to be like a monk or something. I don't think me being brutally honest with myself and saying that I have problems with discipline is making excuses. I would say that's me identifying the problem and I'm working on it and trying to deal with it. Not everybody has the same brain. You're trying to. Everybody thinks differently. Everybody has different chemical imbalances in their brain. This is psychological stuff. So you can try you you can try to argue stock market logic, but I'm talking real world psychology right now. So that you're not going to win this argument. Discipline is on a overall level. Like the reason why monks live for a very long time is because they're disciplined. You know, they're exercising every day. All that you have to keep your brain sharp if you're going to be disciplined. That means you got to be working out. You got to be eating healthy. You got to keep your healthy body, healthy mind. No, I'm not always right. I say all the time that I'm wrong. But when I'm talking about psychology and you're still talking about the stock market logic, then we're not even having the same discussion. I'm not saying that you're wrong about the logic you're saying. All I'm saying is we're not having the same discussion. Your insights are fine. Your insights are good, One Life. I'm not dissing you or anything. Don't take it like that. All I'm saying is psychology and discipline go together, and it's hard to be disciplined in the stock market if you lay around on the couch all day eating potato chips and watching, South Park or something on Netflix. If that's what your life is, you're not very disciplined. So it's going to be very hard for a non-disciplined person outside of the stock market to be disciplined in the stock market. That's a contradiction. And that's the point I'm trying to make. Like you can't just be disciplined in the stock market and not be disciplined in the rest of your life, because then you have, that's almost like a bipolar disorder to be able to do that. for that contradiction. But no, I'm never right. I'm obviously not. I'm obviously. I'm obviously not always right. You know, this play did not pump and dump. I even said it as soon as I got in it. This play could do nothing, and so far it's not doing nothing. I was expecting a pump possibly out of it, but I was wrong. You know, I don't have a problem admitting when I'm wrong, but I'm not going to admit I'm wrong when I know that what I'm talking about is a different conversation than what you were having. It sounds like I've been looking in your window. But I agree with you, One Life, that not to use it as an excuse. Like, I'm not using my lack of discipline as an excuse to lose money. I don't want to be losing money. But what I'm saying is that is the problem with my trading. I've identified it. Discipline is my biggest problem. I mean, you guys watch me every day, and most of the time, every stock that I'm in, I get in the green on, and then you'll see me not lock in profit sometimes. So it's not that I don't have trading plans, and it's not that I don't know the knowledge or any of that. It's strictly just lack of discipline, and it's something that I've been saying it. I've been saying it since I started this channel. That's my biggest issue is discipline. And you can't just solve. You can't just solve an undisciplined brain that's been undisciplined for 30 something years to all of a sudden be be a perfect robot of discipline. Oh my god. All right, well, I'm done arguing with you two. You guys are DB. I don't know what drugs you were on the day that you went and made a whole new screen name troll to troll the channel with, but that's pretty wild. And One Life, I respect your opinions, but I'm not going to keep arguing about this. I'm going to look for another trade, but first I'm going to take a quick break. Guys, give me just a second. I'll be right back. So let's see if we can't find another trade. Looks like KMPH maybe cracking that. Yeah, KMPH starting to crack that triangle, hitting a new low. So even with that FDA approval, this is a perfect example of when I say that the stock can have the best PR in the world, and FDA approval is literally one of the best press releases you can get. And it's selling off in market open. I mean, it did run pretty big already, though, but you never know in the stock market. I'd be careful with Rocket because Reddit's got on board with that. That's what one of the PRs was saying. Yeah, see right there. Latest Wall Street Spark short squeeze. So I mean, there is some possibility to make some money on it, just like there was with GameStop. But you got to be careful. You can just realize that Wall Street Bets is trying to manipulate it. So take this line. I want to see this daily chart. What we're looking like on the daily chart here. Yeah, it's a pretty big. Had to gap up and selling off. Just trying to decide because it's only 2 shares. I'm just trying to decide if I wanna swing this because of this FDA approval. I'm gonna hold it for a little bit longer just to see. And of course, AMTX back up to 17, trying to get back above the trend line, but the market's coming back up. How's that stupid little trade at HUSN doing? HUSN still's not doing anything. Alright, so let's look around. Let's look for some patterns or something here. See if we can't find another trade somewhere. TRXC, this was the FDA clearance one. This just starting to break the downtrend. See, what did I think I said earlier, 525 is what this has got to break. The longer the moving average, the more data it's going to have in it, so the stronger of an indicator it's going to be. So I only use those on my daily chart. But the 200 day is the red one, the yellow is the 100, the blue is the 50, and then the green is the 9 or maybe the 13. I can't remember which one. See, TRX is a little higher float, but that doesn't really mean much. Daniel B, I'm gonna ban you from the channel if you keep up your nonsense. It's people are here to learn. They're not here to be trolled and irritated by you. So if you don't like the channel, go on somewhere else. Because I'm personally a troll and I'm starting to get annoyed with your nonsense. So I'm just not going to entertain your crazy talk in the chat anymore. So TRXC is a possible play. just a little bit higher float than I would like. Let's look at SLGG. SLGG's back down on this $4.80 area. That's $5 support. See, we got OCGN starting to slowly come back up as well. And we will keep an eye on Rocket. Oh, so look, it is Daniel B. Look how easy that was to expose him. God, all I had to do was say ban him, and he came right out of that one life, one trade message. You see how quick I hit? You see how quick I hit the button on that one, the red button? Woo, he got heated on that one. Now you're talking trash. All right. Yeah, in the coming months, honestly, like I've been saying for a while now, I'm expecting a big pullback in the market. Whether it'll be a big crash, I don't know, because it's hard to bet against the Feds. They do have a lot of tricks and manipulations they can do, but they are seemingly starting to lose control of their manipulations. So very easily the stock market could go through a big crash, because the bubble we're in right now, just overall, just everything is in a big bubble, has the potential to make 2008 and the Great Depression look like hiccups. So there's a real possibility of a big crash. Let's see. There's a downtrend on the daily chart here on this, and that seems to be where it's getting hung up at. That 520 area. I don't know. I may go on this. It's starting to come up here. And it's starting to try to break now. But my only concern is it may only run 30 cents to that 564, that pre-market high. So that's what I'm a little that's my concern at the moment. Let's look around. Let's see what else we got. Yeah, see nothing there really. BYFC. Don't really like that. Not really seeing much other possible plays. No, I don't trade futures, but I look at the futures. I'm looking at TRXC. The Nasdaq. He must just be joining the chat because I've been talking about that pretty much all day. But the Nasdaq and the SPY, the whole overall market's going down because Treasury rates are rising. They need to keep Treasury yields down so inflation, so they can pay their debts back. They can pay those treasuries back with the inflation on the dollar, but they can't have it both. They can't have the rates rising on yields and have inflation high. It's a death spiral. It's not good. It's not good for the government and the Federal Reserve. And I may not even make another trade today. If I don't see anything, I'm not going to force anything. OCGN is actually a possible play. I'm actually going to switch to a 5 minute. Oh, I am on a 5 minute chart. Okay. And this little wedge here. KMPH is selling off. Yeah, I'm not gonna hold this because it is dropping a little too much. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of that. See, but really TRXC looks like the best possible play at the moment. I'm gonna go with it. Keeps testing this 525. Let's see if it can break out here. Well, like I said, it is gonna run into 550 resistance and 564. But we are getting an increase in buying volume here on the last 4 or 5 candles. So if that can continue, we could see this break that 525 area. Very well could go further, Paul. Very well could. No, it's not so much to the presidency. I mean, the presidents, they don't really have that much power, but the budget is pretty much controlled by Congress, so it's more directly related to the spending of Congress. And then the Federal Reserve using its manipulation tactics to try to pay off the debt. So, I mean, like I was saying earlier, like in the case of Trump where he was tweeting and you see stocks rip and stuff like that, he can directly affect the market in the short term, but the type of stuff that we're seeing going on with the overall market and rates and all that, that's out of the president's realm. This is long term, and like I said, this bubble has been building for a very long time. Yeah, I mean it's not dropped terribly, but the SPY is in a downtrend. So if this downtrend continues, it's going to be just like it was back here in March. And this is a weekly chart, so you can't really see it, but you can see the downtrend started just almost the same way. So this is very possible. Just because it dropped 1% today doesn't mean that it can't turn into this. But that's the thing though. Even if you make the best educated guess, you really don't know, because the feds are tricky. And they could pull something out of their bag of tricks to make the market come back up. And there is an argument for the economy opening back up that could make the market rise as well, but I mean, I don't know how much good that's going to do at this point. I think the damage is already done. Yeah, crude oil, that's an asset. Your oil's going up. Anything that rises because of inflation is going to go up. Most likely. Looks like gold is down again today. So you see TRXC still having some trouble here breaking. It's 525 area. It's hit it twice. It needs to come up and hit it one more time. If not, if it doesn't break out here in the next couple of minutes, it's going to come back down on this trend line. But here's the thing. Here's the thing right now that is different with this market crash that could possibly be happening and hedging versus previous market crashes is cryptos are a lot bigger now. And there's an argument amongst the investment community that, and this is what I was talking about earlier this morning, where Mark Cuban was on Twitter arguing with Peter Schiff about this, that cryptos could be the new store of value. Because even though gold has been the store of value forever, and I'm a proponent of gold, I invest in gold, silver, and cryptos, there is the possibility that cryptos could be the new store of value. And my argument for that is, let's see, we're starting to crack here. I may have to hop out of this if this drops too much. But my argument for that is because cryptos are decentralized and all of this market problems, the debt that the government has created, decentralized currency is sounding real good to a lot of people right now, especially investors. Money that the government can't really control and manipulate like we see the Fed do with the US dollar. A lot of people don't trust the governments anymore. They don't trust the central banks. And so decentralized currency could overtake gold as a store of value. Now, the counter argument I have to my own argument is that gold and silver are used in a lot of electronic equipment. And I've not looked into this per se as deep as I should have yet, but I'm making the assumption because it's used in a lot of electronic equipment, it is a very good possibility that it's used in the same mining equipment for cryptos. So if that's the case, if there's a need for gold and silver to even mine the cryptos, then gold and silver is not going anywhere. I'm not exactly sure what OPEC is. Let me Google this real quick so I can see what you're talking about. It sounds familiar. Oh, that's why. Petroleum Exporting Countries Organization. Yeah, I'm not a big investor in oil or any of that, so that's why I don't know much about OPEC. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that's gonna. What is what is OPEC? What is your concern about OPEC? Do they have some announcements coming out or something, or what's the deal with this? Because I have no knowledge on OPEC. So I see Ecuador in 2020 quit OPEC. Um, it could affect, from what I just looked at just a little bit, it could affect the market, but the real effects of the market and everything is supply and demand. So if the U.S. if and inflation in that supply and demand. So if we're having this inflation, which we are, that's why crude oil is rising, because assets rise when the U.S. dollar weakens, because it's not it's not so much the value of that oil is going up, it's the value of the dollar is going down. The oil is the same oil it was a year ago, right? But the price has changed because the value of the dollar is changing. And it looks like we may be getting we may be getting a fake out breakout here on this as well. Are you kidding me? AMTX all the way back up to 18 just about. Yeah, this was my concern on this play. This downtrend on the daily at 525 being too tough for it to break. And like I said, we're going to run into other resistance. So I don't know. Like I said, this could come back all the way down in this trend line. I'm not going to hold it if it comes all the way down in the trend line. I'm only going to hold it as long as $5 holds the support. And there is a difference when you're looking at economical numbers and inflation and all that. The stuff that the Federal Reserve reports and that you'll see the government report is not true inflation. They have their little calculations that they do. But to see what true inflation is, all you got to do is go today and see what a apple costs you in the store, or a steak, see what a ribeye costs, and then in 2 months later, see how much that ribeye is. If that same ribeye steak is a lot more expensive, well, the cows didn't change, the meat didn't change. It's just the purchasing value of your dollar did. So you can see inflation real world without having to even look at the government statistics. We're getting This is the point where we need to see his $5 hold up, and then it could curl back up to that 525. We don't want to see 5 crack. Like I said, crypto is the big trump card in this possible market crash and this economic downfall. And that's why I am invested in cryptos as well, because I personally don't trust the government. I don't trust the Federal Reserve. I just heard Jerome Powell literally say to the whole entire public that money printing doesn't affect inflation anymore, which is insanity. So if I feel like that, there's got to be other people out there who feel like that, and they obviously are, as we're seeing Bitcoin back over 50,000 and a lot of the cryptos still running. I think it is a possibility that cryptos could be the new hedge against a drop in market. But like I said, that it's such a trump card, because there's not a lot of data. There's not a lot of historical data. Historically, gold and silver are the best hedges for your money. But it's like a new player has entered the arena, and you don't know what that's really going to do. There's a lot of question marks around the economy and investments and all that right now. It's a very, very sketchy time. Um I mean, yeah, I mean, Texas opening up, it's a good thing for sure. But like I said, I think the damage is done. Uh, a lot of big manufacturers and stuff, like including Tesla, moved out of California into Texas. So it is a good possibility that Texas could show some pretty strong growth this year. I would say they will, and that could help the economy. But none of that matters at this point. If they can't get yields down and they can't control inflation like they want to, then we're going to be in a death spiral of the economy. And that's where all the question marks are right now. They're struggling to manipulate like they normally do. So even if the whole United States economy opens back up, the damage has been done. And now it's time to feel the after effects. Because the stock market crash last year in 2020, that was a knee-jerk reaction to COVID and lockdowns and the possible outcomes that could happen. But now a year later, after the whole global economy has been locked down, that damage is done. There's so much debt that we're going to feel those after effects no matter what. But whether or not they'll be dramatic after effects or they'll just be a little hiccup, that's where the debate is at. So I really don't know. I can't, like I've said multiple times, I'm buying cryptos, I'm buying gold and silver. I got a stock portfolio I'm still holding to see. I'm trying to liquidate some of my growth stocks for fundamental value stocks, because those heavy tech growth stocks uh, could be in a bubble. You've seen them starting to pop and drop a little bit. But there's a lot of speculation. This is a very speculative time right now. And all you got to do is, if you, like I said yesterday, go check out Kitco News, a little economic news channel, and listen to everybody who's been on that channel the last 2 weeks, and you'll see that nobody really knows what's going on, and everybody has different speculations on it. So the only majority consensus is that the economy and the debt and all that is in bad shape. So yeah, petrodollars. That's one of those. That's one of those government manipulation things. Um, Daniel B, you can say that about cryptos all you want, but you've been saying that since Bitcoin was at under 20,000. It just went to 60,000. So I mean, whether or not you feel it's going to last in the long term, you just missed out on a $30,000 rip. So I mean, that's right now your argument is not looking so good on cryptos, because cryptos at the moment, even with everything going on, are the only things that are in a bull run. Gold is down, silver's down, everything else is down. But I'm looking at my crypto account and it's looking pretty sweet right now. So we should be doing another swamp episode tomorrow. Uh, Monday, I just had too much going on. But we'll be on. We should be on a swamp episode, the swamp channel tomorrow, and maybe we'll talk about all this. Last time we had technical difficulties, we couldn't even do the stream. That was last Thursday. We tried and it just kept messing up. So I've fiddled with some things. Oh, I didn't realize this was under $5. You guys got me talking. I wasn't even paying attention to this price here. I'm not blaming you guys either. That was my fault. I should have been paying attention. At least keep an eye on the price. I wasn't even keeping an eye on it. But you can see it did come back down to that trend line just about. Get my finger on the trigger in case it starts cracking here, because I didn't really want to hold this below 5, but we're already here now, so let's see what happens, if it can come back up or not. You say that, Daniel B, but you're comparing flowers to cryptocurrencies. Michelle Swamp it's the other channel that Greg's in the chat now. That's my father-in-law, Gregory Carlson. We started a channel together to talk about politics and economics and just whatever topics we wanted to talk about. And it's Swamp is an acronym for Straight White Male Perspective, because that's what we both are. We're straight white males, and we leaned into the left's identity politics. Just, Greg probably might not agree with me, but I kind of think of it as a troll move. But you can find that channel in the community tab. It's a small channel. We just started it a couple of months ago, and it's just two old white guys just talking crazy. That's pretty much all it is. We'll cover different things in the news headlines and give our perspectives on things. So that's all it is. It's entertaining though. It definitely is entertaining. We get in some debates. We've had several debates, so it's a good time. But yeah, Daniel B, you're comparing tulips to blockchain technology, and that's where your ideology is extremely flawed at, because you want to call it tulip mania, but this isn't. Cryptos are not something like flowers that don't really have much of a purpose. The blockchain technology behind the cryptos is not going to, but is changing e-commerce and commerce around the globe. Now, whether Bitcoin will be, the one that's adopted, or Litecoin, or which coin will be adopted, there's a lot of speculation there. But cryptocurrencies aren't going anywhere. The only way they're going anywhere is if all the electricity in the world goes off. That's the biggest risk, is some apocalyptic event. And in that case, stocks don't matter either. So, I mean, you can be against it all you want. That's your opinion. But you've not done your stance. I can tell you haven't done the research on cryptos at all. Because if you'd done any research, you would know the value of the blockchain technology itself is where the value's at. It's not so much as crypto being a store of value. It's the value in the technology. But there is, like I said, there is a possibility that cryptocurrencies could become the new store of value. Really, Daniel B, you're gonna diss the Swamp Channel, dude? For real? Like, we don't allow people to have opinions. That's the whole point of that channel, is we want to hear other people's opinions. Like, literally, we say all the time, leave your opinions in the comments below so we can, have a discussion and talk about things. Like, just because you're mad because you're wrong about crypto doesn't mean that you need to go take it out on the Swamp Channel. I already got YouTube on our ass about that channel. They removed one of our videos when we only got 20 subscribers on that channel. I don't need you on my ass about that channel either. But don't lie. Don't sit there and tell bold-faced lie about a channel that Greg's involved with. You want to talk trash about me and all that. That's fine, but you bringing family and stuff into it. That's just out of bounds, man. You're taking it too far. Just because we may not agree with you doesn't mean that we won't allow opinions. We disagree with each other all the time. And we agree with some points and we disagree with some points. People can agree and disagree. There's nothing wrong with that. Daniel B, you need to go meditate, buddy. You really got some negative energy going on. I don't know why you are so negative lately. But you need to meditate. You need to ride your bike some more. Like, I come in here, I'm all nice and happy for the stream, ready to go. I'm a pretty laid back guy, and then you just come in every day with just the same negative energy. And it's just such a downer, man. People are here to learn, If you, like I said, if you don't like the channel, leave. There's no reason for you to be here trolling and being an asshole all the time if you don't like the channel. Like, how bored are you that this is what you want to do? That you want to put your negative energy out here on this channel like this, man? Like, you could be actually given some good advice or some good insights, and instead you just want to be a dick, man. That's just, I don't know why. It's frustrating. And that's the reason I don't want to ban you, is because you do have good insights. You are a good stock trader, but I mean, if you keep acting like this, and I get more complaints from other people who are trying to learn, then I'm gonna have to ban you. So, like, figure out what you want to do, man. The ball's in your court. Either get over your nonsense or leave the channel. One of the two. Now, you can have your opinion, and this is not referring to the crypto thing. Like, I don't care that you disagree about crypto. You could be right, but I just think your comparison of tulips for blockchain technology is just a very bad comparison. But you're trolling and talking trash about the Swamp Channel and this channel and digging on me every day. It's getting old, buddy. It's getting old. Too much negative energy for me. No, I called you a dick because you are. You've been a dick for everybody in the chat seen you be a dick for the last week at least straight. So don't try to back out and try to make it like, oh, I'm attacking you for your opinion on crypto. I disagree with your opinion on crypto, but I'm not dissing you because of that. But I'm telling you, if I have to have 1 or 2 more days where I have to argue with you or, say something crazy because you're talking crazy and trolling for no reason, like coming in here with a different name for your trolling, then it's gonna be it, man. There's no reason for this. You're making the stream unenjoyable for other people and for myself. There's a point of trolling where you got to stop, and you got to keep the trolling, Trolling's fine to an extent, but you're going too far. You're collecting your abuses for your lawyer? Okay. I mean, I don't know what court is going to go against when I show them every single live stream where you're in there talking crazy and saying the crazy stuff you say all the time. I don't know what they're going to do to me about that. That's kind of a mute point, because everything you say and do is on footage, buddy. So I don't. All we gotta do is play back the tape. It ain't gonna take much for the courts to figure that one out. So you can save your empty threats, man. Like I said, I don't want the negativity in here. I'm giving you a chance, man. I'm giving you a chance to actually chill out and either just watch or be productive in the chat. So anyway, TRXC is just slowly moving. This is what another concern I had about this. The float was over 200 million, so it can be a very slow mover. But we'll give the stream about 20 more minutes here and see if this can start curling back up. If it curls back up, should be good to go. If it doesn't, if it starts dropping back down on the trend line, it's probably going to sell off. We're getting a bit of a doji star there. We are starting to break above $5. Damn, AMTX is all the way up to 18. Let's pop back over to Rocket, see what's Rocket's doing. Rocket's getting close to the downtrend. Still a little ways. Needs to break over 35. Yeah, that's what I was saying about Rocket. You got to be careful with it, because when Wall Street Bets gets a hold of a stock, I mean, we saw it with GameStop, where GameStop shot up real big, and then it dropped pretty hard. I mean, there's places you can make money day trading those, but you just got to be careful, because if that many people in Wall Street Bets decides to all sell at once, it's going to dump a stock. So it's hard to, that type of manipulation is going to be unpredictable. The funny thing is they keep manipulating all these stocks that have higher floats. Like GameStop had a decently low float, but if they were to manipulate a stock like HUSN, it's only got 6 million in shares, they could make a stock like that skyrocket and go crazy. But that may be on the bounds of illegal activity to do that type of pump and dump. I don't know. I don't. Whatever those Wall Street bets guys do, man, I just let them do and don't pay any attention to it. Yeah, they say they got diamond hands, but them diamond hands are only diamond hands for as long as until they've got money to actually buy diamonds, and then them diamond hands become they go from diamond hands to hands that want to buy diamonds. So said you got some socket today. Oh, SKT. Oh, this is Tanger outlets. Yeah, if the economy's open back up, Tanger might not be, a terrible investment. If people, because there is an argument out there for there's a lot of pin up demand from the lockdown, so people may go out and spend a lot of money. So there's a possibility that retail could see a big rebound. And you can see before Tanger was all the way up at $42. But like I said, there's just so much. How's the market looking? The market's mixed right now. There's just so much that is speculation right now. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell what's going to happen. So I'm not leaning one way or the other. SKT is high on the short list. Yeah, I would say it. I could see that. I mean, a lot of the retail places were probably being shorted pretty heavily by the hedge funds and stuff because of all the economic issues. But I don't know. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. All you can do is just try to prepare yourself and make the best educated guesses that you can. So where's the SPY at? The SPY is actually rebounding decently. Still got a ways to go before it breaks back over that trend line, though. And you can see $5 just trying to hold up here on TXRC. This struggling. If it can't hold above 5, so you can see that little curl that's starting to happen there. Maybe I may have to get out. It's starting to look like this triangle might break to the downside with that little curl down there. And we are getting close to lunchtime, so you can see volume is slowly dying off of some things. So yeah, if anybody's got any questions, suggestions, or ideas, go ahead and get those in. Most likely this is going to crack here. You can see $5 actually starting to hold up as some resistance. So if it doesn't get back above $5 here, then it's going to crack. Sure. What's up, Daniel B? What's your question, buddy? Buzz ETF? Is that the ticker symbol of the ETF? Because I'm not familiar with it. I'm not familiar with that. Like I said, I don't pay too much attention to Wall Street bets. Yeah, I'm getting out of this. It's starting to crack down at curl over. It could possibly come back up later, but I'm in all the way up here at 525 at the resistance. I can't keep holding it. If I keep holding it, that's just bad trading. So, what is going on with Buzz here? I know the Tulip Mania story, Daniel B. I understand the concept of Tulip Mania. Oh, it starts tomorrow? What's the ETF about? Let me see if I can find it. GameStop was Tulip Mania. That's a good comparison to what you're talking about, Tulip Mania. If you were to say Tulip Mania was GameStop, then yes, I would agree with you. I understand Tulip Mania very well. That's why I disagree with you about cryptos and Tulip Mania. Because the technology behind the currency is very, very strong technology that has the possibility to change everything. Yeah, I can see people have Googled. Okay, hold on, I'm doing some research real quick. Let's find out about this. Buzz. Vector Social Sentiment ETF. So, there could be possibility that this ETF could go crazy. But what I'm seeing is this ETF is weighted off of the most popular stocks on social media. And that's interesting, but it's a little sketchy because, like Daniel B's pointing out, the Tulip Mania thing, that's kind of the same effect we're having with social media and Wall Street bets on these stocks. So I want to see the whole list of what is on this index, but DraftKings, Twitter, Facebook, Ford, Amazon. So the ETF's got a couple of good things in there. Amazon's a strong investment. Facebook's a strong investment. DraftKings is, I would say, pretty decent. Twitter, Ford, Ford's not bad, but they have GameStop in the ETF, which is insanity. I'd like to see the whole list of what this ETF is weighted with. It's anchored with Amazon and Tesla. I don't mind that. I don't mind that it's weighted with Amazon and Tesla. Let's take a look see here at Tesla and stuff, since I'm not in the I'm still in HUSN and still not doing anything, so I've got my stop loss in on it, and I'm just gonna hold it and see if it drops or if it ever gets any buy-in. There's no telling. It is above all the indicators, so as long as it stays above my stop loss, I'm gonna hold it. But I haven't looked at Tesla or Amazon in a while, so let's take a look. Whoops, that's the wrong one. There we go. So we are having a big curl, and Tesla is, but okay, so Tesla's not in bad shape. This is a big curl, but it looks like it's holding up the 100-day. But this is one of those. Tesla's such a weird stock because it acts like a penny stock a lot of times, and Elon's tweets can change the price and all of that. And basically, when the sell-off happened was when they bought all that Bitcoin, and I think that's because a lot of the big investors probably did not like that move because there's so much speculation around the crypto markets. But I mean, Tesla's a pretty solid company, and you see it's been uptrending all year. And if we look at the max chart, it's been going pretty high up since about 2020 early. So it is up high. This is a pretty high price, and you can see if it was to drop, 500 would be the next support. And looking at this max chart, actually, the 50 days all the way down at 492. So there's some possibilities there that this could have a big pullback. This candle here is pretty ugly, but the 100-day is trying to hold it up. But if the stock market crashes, Tesla will crash too. So that's the thing you gotta keep in mind right now, and that's pretty much with every investment. That's what I keep saying. It's so speculative. But like I said, I like Tesla. I like Elon Musk. Elon Musk continues to do the unthinkable and impossible. But who knows? With all the speculation around the economy and everything, who really knows right now? And then Amazon, even if the economy does crash, I mean, Amazon is Amazon. I mean, they own the internet. And you see on the max chart, Amazon's actually in a flag here on this max daily chart or weekly chart, whatever max chart I'm in. Oh, monthly. So Amazon's consolidating right now. Cost Tesla's dropped, and I don't know. I'd say long term that ETF probably will be fine. Short term though, I have no idea. I mean, Wall Street Bets could push it up. But because it's weighted by Amazon and Tesla, if the market continues to drop, looking at this 1-year chart of the SPY, if the market doesn't break back over this downtrend at the moment, then it'd be very possible to see Tesla and Amazon drop with the market, and that would drop that ETF pretty hard. So we'll see. I'll keep it on the watch list for. I'll put it. Let's see. Is it still on here? No, still not on here. We'll see. The initial hype could make it run. It could be a possible day trade for sure. But long term, at this point, any long term investment is sketchy. Any of them. It doesn't matter what it is. Gold, silver, real estate, cryptos, everything is speculative right now. So. But for day trading, yeah, it possibly could be a good one to watch. So actually, thank you for putting that on my radar. We'll be keeping an eye on that tomorrow, just like I'm keeping an eye on the Coinbase IPO. I think there could be some big hype around the Coinbase IPO. I mean, it's been building. There's been lots of PR about it. But all right, guys, I'm going to call it a day. Appreciate everybody joining me in this shaky market. We'll be back tomorrow. You guys have a great rest of your day. Stay safe out there. Till next time.